Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and today is Wednesday, April the 14th, 2021, and I am joined by my playing partner, Mr. Andrew Hansen. How are you after this Masters tournament that we took in last week, Mr. Hansen?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Yeah, April 14th means that the Masters is in the rearview mirror, but that was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Hideki. Great for the country of Japan to get their first major winner for the male players. And, had some drama there at 16. Man, what a moment there when Xander hit it in the water when he was coming on Hideki's heels. And then
Yep.
one of the fascinating things afterwards is he said he flushed it. He hit it exactly how he wanted to. He just misread the wind. And that little difference of a couple yards could have been the difference to give Hideki the win. And then your man, Will Zalatoris,
How
backs
about
into
that?
second place. And he's the only one out of those top three who's playing this week. So there are
I
going to be a
know.
lot of eyes on him.
This is a good field though. I mean, that's what's surprising. It's a strong field. It's just not all the top guys, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it was another disaster for me on Thursday with Dustin Johnson. What the heck, man? He's a boomer bust, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he certainly was surprising to just destroy everybody last fall at the Masters and then miss the cut. But he said his putter was off. That was the problem. So he's been working on
He's
it to
got something else off, and I think it's right between the ears. That's
possible. It's possible.
Oh man, but I'll tell you, thank goodness we do the weekend only. I mean, how many times do we come to this show and it's bailed at least me out almost every time because I went with my man Will and Hideki and they just got it done all weekend.
Yeah, you've done really well in the weekend golf throughout the season, but you've been good on the main slate. Remember, first 6 weeks or so of 2021, you were really good, and
Yes. I
back
did
at
have
it
a
here today.
super hot streak at it, but I guess it was such a build up for the Masters. We were so fired up for it, and I think I was just disappointed with my guys. But yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a fun tournament to watch. The coverage was terrific, and we had a lot of fun with our contest. Definitely shout out to the first, second, and third place finishers. We had. You want to announce who those were for our wonderful Masters
Yeah, let's
tournament?
see. What was it? C Chach, MDNKY, JP Wild, right?
Uh, is that who it was?
Yeah,
Now,
I think
see,
those were
now
the
you've
top
got me
three.
stumped. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Uh,
Yeah,
I
so
think you're right. Yeah.
and thank you again to Beat DM Joe who got all that Masters gear, the 12 Pro V1 Masters balls. We had the dog ball, right?
I
And then the
know. And the
the
awesome
Masters
hat.
hat.
I
So
wanted that dog bowl
congratulations.
so bad. You
Yeah.
got to see Chance on our baseball or basketball pod earlier today, and now he has no bowl to drink out of. Hope you're happy, JP Wild, for winning every contest in the top three.
Hey, you got to earn it. You got to earn it.
I got a hold of water in my hand for my poor dog now. No, but it was fun, man, and enjoyed it. And I'll tell you, this week is a good week. I mean, you would think, okay, everybody's going to sit out from the Masters, but it's not that case at all. It is, by the way, the RBC Heritage, and it is at the Harbour Town Golf Links. Beautiful course, precision course, not super long, 71-21 for the length. Real premium on accuracy this week for sure. But some big names across the board here as far as who's in it. So why don't we start out with some odds on this tournament just to get everybody sort of pumped. We'll go backwards the way we usually do it and go over some of these odds. Top 10, you've got, let's see, why do they have Dustin Johnson in here? Is he playing?
He
Yeah,
is playing.
12-1. I can't believe it. I guess I've erased him from my brain right
Right.
now. Webb Simpson at 14, Cantlay 18. He was another major disappointment.
Yep.
Not sure what happened to him, man. That was unusual.
Awful.
Yeah, Morikawa 20-1 Daniel Berger, 22, along with Matthew Fitzpatrick. Tyrrell Hatton, 25. Abraham Answer, 30. Cam Smith, 30. And Paul Casey, 30. So you got, those are all really good golfers, all 30 to 1 and lower. And absolutely a lot of guys that have a shot to win it. So we're going to test you right out of the jump. All you have to, this is simple. I'm just doing it easy on you today. The next 10, after those 10 I just mentioned, I need 4 of them, Andrew.
Okay. Did you mention Zalatoris?
I did not, but he is correct. 33 to 1.
33
Will Zal is in there.
Wow.
The hometown boy.
Okay, yeah, first time here in this event, so probably why his odds are a little bit longer. So there's one for you. How about Corey Connors?
He is at 35 to 1. And man, I'll tell you what, for my money, that dude has he been tough for us or what? He just makes cut after cut. He is playing good golf.
Oh, he was great. He was a highlighted player for us on the clipboard at 6,900 on DraftKings. And he hit that hole in one, and he was right around the top 10 for most of the event. That was great.
It was beautiful. I don't think I've ever had a guy that on my DFS squad that had a hole in one like that. It was
fun. Yeah.
I was thinking, how many points is this? It was like when Josh and I had the no hitter the other day. It was like, what's the bonus? How big is it?
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 more.
How about Abraham Answer?
Abraham Answer is the next guy on the list. You are correct. Oh, wait a minute. I already gave you him. Nice
Was he
try.
top 10? Okay.
Yeah, he's the 9th guy. He's 30 to 1.
All right. Sung J.
Oh,
Im?
and a penalty stroke.
Oh, gosh.
For that one. So, you're going to live clean in place and take 2. Go ahead.
Sung J. Im, have you mentioned him yet?
Yes, I have not. He's 40 to 1, which is a big number for a guy that could win this. Yep.
Okay. And how about Sergio?
You got it, man. I knew you'd keep it. But what the heck? How does he miss the cut? I had him in some lineups. The dude's like a million cuts in a row at the Masters. That was a stunner.
He was right there. I think he missed by 1, didn't he? He
did. He missed. He was right on the number. He missed
late bogey. Yeah, it happens.
Rough. All right. Well, that's the odds from, and we want to thank BetUS.com.pa for those odds. They have been fantastic. I see a couple in there I'd like to throw a few bucks on for sure. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can join. You can go into betus.com.pa if you haven't deposited with them yet. Put 149 in there. Use that to play all your bets if you want to play some of these golfers to win the Heritage. And then you get a free membership with Coach Talk all the way until June 1st. So you got a month and a half free with us. Just shoot us a quick tweet at DFS Coach Talk, and we will get you in there. So we'd love to have you. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, this is our big ask each show, and I want to put it in there before Andrew gives away all these golden gem value plays. We really appreciate a thumbs up, a quick subscribe. We need some subs. And then the alert up in the corner really, really means a lot to us, helps us move up the algorithm there on YouTube. All right, why don't you give us, Andrew, some of your nuggets on like stats or what you're expecting here? Because I know this course is a little shorter than normal, and its accuracy, as I mentioned earlier, is at a premium.
Yeah, so let's talk about the course in general. Like you said, it's shorter course, par 71. And one thing to keep in mind is that they played this event last year in June because of COVID. Traditionally, it's right here in April like we are this year. So the scores were a lot different. Webb Simpson had a record-setting 22 under par because the course played differently in the summer. So what we have here now, right out of Webb's mouth, I heard part of his press conference where he's talking about how, higher winds here, firmer, faster greens. So he expects the scoring to be tougher. Last year, the cut was 4 under. So I think it'll be a little bit tougher scoring here. We may have some wind on Thursday. And like you said, accuracy here from the fairway is very important because these greens are pretty small, 3,700 square feet on average.
Right.
And the rough is not much of a problem. It's short rough, so
Yeah.
not as focused on driving accuracy, driving length. Really a premium here on accuracy, strokes gained approach. So that's one of the stats I looked at here. Really the key one, sort of a tiebreaker. So I looked at the top 20 in strokes gained approach this year, and the guys who are playing this week are Morikawa, Matt Wallace. Will Zalatoris is fifth in that stat.
Okay.
And I'm curious on your thoughts on him. You've been a huge proponent of him since he started to get more and more notoriety as he continued to get these different sponsors exemptions and different types of temporary memberships. So you've been on really on him, and I mean, wow, what a impressive performance to do that at the Masters. You know, right there in the mix on Sunday, and I liked the way he sounded after that. He's
Yeah.
kind of talking to me. What it sounds like to me is he's really focused on winning, and he's sort of on a mission, and I think he's hungry.
Right.
I think he's hungry for a win. I think that did nothing but give him all the confidence he needs to keep going and reach even greater heights.
The reason I've been on him so much from the very beginning, because he's a local guy here in Dallas. He went to high school here. He played, locally, and he was taken under the wing by some of these guys, Jordan Spieth and some of the local Dallas guys here, Ryan Palmer, Kevin Na, and he got to play with all those guys, practice rounds all the time, at 14, 15, 16. And even though he's such a slight, thin guy, he's just one of those wiry hitters. But the thing that got my attention is his mental approach to the game. Interviews when he was 15, all the stuff leading up to him becoming a professional, he doesn't get rattled. He's such a focused, relaxed guy. He's not super intense. He doesn't, he just rolls with it and is just hyper focused. And I was really impressed with him at a young age. And I figured once he really felt like he belonged, and I think that was the statement he made in that interview on Sunday was, he now truly believes he can play with the best golfers in the world at any venue. And, Andrew, that was his first trip around Augusta.
Yeah, as a competitor.
As a competitor.
Yeah, in a tournament. So this is the first time here, and I think your point is probably the same one I'm thinking, which is I'm not going to bet against him. In fact, I might get him in most of my lineups here. He's
not a guy that's going to come in gassed or distracted.
No,
I think I think he's right in the thick of it.
Yeah. And there were two other things that popped up this weekend related to him that I really enjoyed, and I'm going to share. One of them was the local PGA section in Texas there over the weekend posted those standings from way back when those guys were kids, like 13, 14 years old. And Spieth shot like a 75 and won the tournament. And Zalatoris was
Texas Golf Association, by the way.
Zalatoris was second with like a 78, and then everybody else was in the 80s. And so it's just kind of cool that those guys were competing, as young guys, and now they're right there in the top 10 in the Masters.
Oh, and he's about 4 years younger, or 5 years younger than Jordan.
Spieth,
he's well below him. So, the fact that he was chasing after him at that young age really helped him, I think, get to where he is.
And then the other thing I heard that I really liked is that Zalatoris, one thing he does to prepare for pressure moments, they said that he runs around the putting green and then goes to putt so that it gets his heartbeat up. And I just think it's such a smart thing to do. And so he's obviously thinking about everything. He's thinking outside the box to get ready, and that's why he looked so calm. And he
love it.
He looked so calm all the way through. So I think he's ready for big things.
When I coached, how most coaches have their guys get on the foul lines and shoot 20 foul shots before they leave, and they're relaxed and they're not breathing hard and they're standing there and they just shoot. That's not real. The way I always did it is I had a ball at each foul line. I had them do a couple sprints, and then they had to run right directly to their basket and take 3 dribbles, take their deep breath, their heart's pumping. Same scenario, make it real. And that's cool that he does that, because that's what we did hoops wise too. And it makes a difference, because why do you want to be in if you're not feeling that particular way in the crunch, you're not going to be able to perform when it really matters. So I love that. That is really cool. Brings back memories for me.
So other guys here in the top 20 for strokes gained approach: Matthew Neesmith. He's a good price here, under 7,000 on DraftKings. Ches Reavie, who has missed 3 of his last 4 cuts, so not coming in very hot. Tyrrell Hatton, who ended up with a top 20 in the Masters, but not quite at top form for me to spend up.
Yeah,
DJ. Yeah. And then DJ's 11th in this stat.
I'm not paying attention to anything you say about DJ.
All right, I'll just keep moving down the list. Corey Connors is next, 13th.
Hey, why not, man? I mean, he's like Marcus Morris for me in basketball. Why not go to the well if you keep getting your drink? I love it.
He is more expensive though. He was $6K range for the Masters. Now he's $9,300 on DraftKings.
Oh, that's too much of a. Why did they raise him that much?
Hey, I mean, that hole in one. It's he's got to pay for it now. Charlie Hoffman. Charlie Hoffman, 16th, coming off that second place finish down in your neck in the woods at the Valero down
Westwood,
the road.
Yeah.
Paul Casey, 17th. And then how about Doug Gim? Let's not forget about him. 6 of the last 8 tournaments he's played in, he's made the cut, including a top 10. He's only 6,900. So he's one of the value guys I'm looking at who could just kind of come back out here and quietly get us a top 20, which would be terrific.
I like him. Yeah, he's flown below the radar most of the season, but he's had some good finishes. He just can't get into that upper echelon, but maybe it's the time.
Absolutely. I also looked at some course history here, Coach. I know you appreciate that as well.
That's one of my favorite things. I like the psyche of it, for guys.
Yep. I mean, one thing you can do is you look at some of these winners. Webb Simpson won it last year. CT Pan. There's been some lesser known names, which speaks volumes about how you don't have to be a big hitter here or a big star. It's more about accuracy. So some of these winners, CT Pan, Kadira, Wesley Bryan, Brandon Grace, they're all cheaper options. Right. Out of those guys, Brandon Grace is in decent form. He won, within the last year. He's 7,600. CT Pan missed the cut at the Masters, but he did have a tie for third at the Honda. Not as excited about those other guys, Kadira or Wesley Bryan, based on their recent form. But then some of the guys who haven't won, but who have good course history here, I'm pretty interested in Brian Harman, and he was really making some noise there at the Masters.
Yes.
And so I like the situation for Harman. Kevin Streelman. You know how much I like him. He's had a two top tens here recently, and 7,300. So another guy who's not a big hitter, but great with the irons, and I like the price tag for him. Ian Poulter. How about the last few years? He's had a 7th, 11th, 10th, and 14th here.
That's crazy. That means a lot. That's a great point right there for a value play. 7,600.
You're coming off another made cut at the Masters, so he just peaks for this time of year and keeps it going. And then one more guy who's a little more pricey, Shane Lowry, finished third here 2 years ago. The last time it was played in April.
Right.
He was fine at the Masters, tied for 21st, so he's in solid form, 8,500. So there's another guy you could look at. And so kind of looking at this mid-tier here. And the way I'm kind of trending is to build more of a balanced lineup this week instead of paying up for guys like DJ and maybe even Webb. Try to balance it out a little bit more.
Interesting. One thing I wanted to mention that I'm putting more into play here starting this week, and it's not just because I'm mad about the DJ thing, but really, when any of the tournaments during the COVID year last year that were played at a completely different time of year, you might as well just flush those results down the toilet, because it means nothing, because the wind's different, the grass is different, the I mean, everything is. And it's like, golf, one thing about golf is depending on the course condition and the time of year, it's like playing a completely different course. And that's why, I'm not going to look at the tournament results from last year for tournaments like this one and give it any weight because it's like playing a different course.
Yep.
So the reason I mention that is, I looked at 2019 and 2018, a few of those years to see, who's sticking out that really has played well here in these conditions in this time of year. And the guy I always take, Patrick Cantlay, I don't know what happened to him at the Masters. I think he deserves mention. Shane Lowry, you already mentioned, I think, is a guy that, is, again, had a top finish here in 2019. And then in 2018, a couple of guys that we've liked in the past, on Cantlay was 7th that year as well. Ian Poulter, as you mentioned. Matthew Fitzpatrick, is he playing? He's playing this week, isn't he? Yeah, because he's a guy that I had circled, but I wanted to make sure he was in the field. That's another guy that can play here. And, just the fact that they get to play this course under the conditions that they're used to, I think makes a big difference. So those are a few of the names that I looked at. And I think the pay-up guy that I'll go with, even though he stung me last week, I still think Cantlay can step up and win at any time.
Yeah, that was one of the big surprises with the Masters.
I couldn't believe it. He played terrible.
Yeah, and he'd done well at the match play event. He was awesome there. 2 years ago in the Masters when Tiger won, he was right there in the mix, and so I thought he would peak, and just went backwards. He had a bad first round, and then it was like he had to force it and push it to try to make a big comeback just to make the cut, and it just went the other direction. And I think he kind of lost focus.
Yeah, I think he sort of mailed it in, but wouldn't doubt him bouncing back. I'm definitely gonna play a top 5 finish type of play with him as well. So it's a good event though. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. It is a par 71, by the way. So wanted to bring that up. It's a little bit different.
Correct. Yeah, so maybe a couple other possibilities for me in terms of some savings. Chris Kirk at 7,500.
I like Chris Kirk. He's had a good year.
Siwoo Kim 7,900. He has a second place finish here. I know you were on him for the Masters. He finished tied for 12th.
Yeah, that was terrific. Played very well, very consistent.
One more value play here. Another guy you play sometimes, Chesson Hadley, is only 6,300. His last 2 events, tied for 13th, tied for 23rd. And then how about the old guys? Let's not forget about them. It's a special category every week for me.
The Andrew always has an old timer.
Stuart Sink. How about Mr. Sink at 6,700 with a great performance at the Masters?
He sure did.
And then Jim Furyk at 6,600. This is the type of course where he can make the cut. He doesn't have to worry about length so much.
Definitely.
So those are the key areas that I'm looking at, Coach.
Yeah, this is the last thing I want to share with you because as we're preparing, because by the way, if you want full lineups on Fanduel and Yahoo for this, and then our Draftkings coaches clipboard, that'll be in our Discord tonight. I believe we're posting at 8:30 Eastern or something like that, but it will be in our Discord tonight. So jump aboard, dfscoachtalk.com. Good time to get a membership right now, even if you dip your toe in the water with a 3-day, and then you'll get the lineups tonight. We have basketball, obviously main slate with 11 games. We have Major League Baseball with a really good main slate, and then we've got this golf tournament as well. But this is what I wanted to mention to you, Andrew, because this I think will affect our final couple of decisions. We may want to play the guys that have a nice game in a little bit of tough weather, because I saw that it wasn't going to be very good, and I just called it up literally live as we're talking here on the Weather Channel for Hilton Head, South Carolina. That's where the Heritage is. And Thursday, it's a 50% chance of thunderstorms, wind gusts up to 15 miles an hour, which is, fairly significant. Friday, 10% chance of rain. Saturday, 73% with winds back up. And Sunday, on and off showers with winds 7 to 10 miles an hour. So wind may not be as bad as it usually is there, and it can get nasty at Hilton Head, but they're going to deal with the on and off rain 3 to 4 days, I believe.
Yeah, another guy who I was thinking about that with the weather is Russell Knox. He has a tied for second here and an 11th. So he's one of the guys who could get a little bit of a bump because of the weather.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. What else? Anything else golf-wise here? Or are we good to go?
I think that's it.
Fantastic. Well, that is awesome. Let's wrap it up. Hopefully you guys get a chance to listen to this before they tee off tomorrow. Yeah. So this week is just flying by. So, good stuff. I hope you enjoy it. Shoot us a comment or suggestions, anything you want to throw our way golf-wise. We'll be happy to put it into our podcasts. We're always looking to grow our audience in golf. It always lags behind the other big three, but I'll tell you, if you haven't played a lot of DFS golf, it is one of the most fun things you can do as far as DFS, because when you're watching all the different shots, you can root for and against guys, and it's a nice paced game to play DFS. I think it's really underrated. So hope you guys enjoy it. But that is it. Really appreciate it. Andrew coming off a monster wins this week in basketball, and I think he's going to carry this momentum right into golf. I'll certainly be playing his lineups as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And of course, we'll be back again next week when we look to crush it in PGA DFS.